Hello my friends, this is Dr. Mandell. Today I want to talk about something that affects millions of seniors worldwide, leg weakness and leg cramps. If you're over 50, 60, or 70, you may have already experienced those nighttime cramps that suddenly wake you up, or that constant heaviness in your legs that makes it hard to walk. The truth is, much of this is linked to nutritional deficiencies. Our bodies are miraculous, but as we age, we don't absorb nutrients as well as we used to. That means our muscles, nerves, and circulation often pay the price. So today I'm going to share with you the top 7 vitamins that can strengthen your legs, improve circulation, and prevent those painful cramps so you can keep walking strong and living independently. One of the biggest reasons seniors suffer from weak legs, constant cramps, and poor balance is because of something that often goes unnoticed: vitamin and mineral deficiencies. You see, the body is like a machine, and every machine needs fuel and parts that work together to keep it running smoothly. When you're younger, your body absorbs nutrients from food very efficiently. But as the years go by, your digestion slows down, your stomach acid production decreases, and your body just doesn't take in nutrients the way it once did. That means your muscles and nerves are left starving for what they need to function properly. Now let's talk about those painful leg cramps that wake you up in the middle of the night. That sudden tightening, that knot in your calf or your foot. It's not just bad luck, it's your body crying out, "I'm missing something." Usually that something is magnesium, potassium, calcium, or a combination of them. These minerals are called electrolytes, and they're responsible for making sure your muscles contract and relax smoothly. Without the right balance, your muscles fire off uncontrollably, leading to spasms and cramps. Think about this: every time you take a step, your leg muscles contract and then relax. This simple process depends on vitamins and minerals sending signals from your brain to your muscles and back again. But if you're low in these nutrients, the signals become weak and your legs may feel heavy, shaky, or unsteady. Many seniors chalk this up to just getting old, but in reality, the body is simply running low on the fuel it needs. That's why it's so important to understand that deficiencies aren't just numbers on a blood test, they're the root cause of much of the discomfort you feel. As we age, we also take more medications, blood pressure drugs, antacids, diuretics, and even cholesterol-lowering medicines can deplete vitamins and minerals from the body. For example, diuretics, often called water pills, flush potassium right out of your system. Without potassium, your muscles can't hold their proper electrical charge, which leads directly to cramps and weakness. Antacids reduce stomach acid, making it harder to absorb calcium, magnesium, and B12. Over time, this leads to brittle bones, weak muscles, and nerve issues in the legs. And here's the thing, my friends, once your legs start to weaken, it's not just about cramps. Weak legs lead to poor balance. Poor balance leads to falls, and falls, especially in seniors, can be life-changing. A simple deficiency, left unchecked, can rob you of your independence. That's why I want you to see your vitamins and minerals not as little pills or nutrients on a label, but as the lifeline to your mobility, your strength, and your freedom. Another important point is circulation. When you're low in vitamins like E or minerals like magnesium, your blood doesn't flow as efficiently through your arteries and capillaries. That means your leg muscles aren't getting enough oxygen and nutrients. Think about your muscles like a car engine. If the fuel line is clogged, the engine sputters and dies. The same thing happens in your legs. Poor circulation causes fatigue, heaviness, and eventually cramps because the muscles can't get the energy they need. Let me give you a real-life example. I've had patients come to me saying, "Doctor, my legs feel so weak I can barely walk to the mailbox." They feared it was something serious like nerve disease or arthritis. But after checking their blood levels, we found they were low in vitamin D, magnesium, and B12. Once we corrected those deficiencies with food and supplements, within weeks they were walking longer, sleeping better, and feeling stronger. It wasn't magic, it was just giving the body what it had been missing all along. Here's something else many people don't realize: dehydration makes deficiencies even worse. When you don't drink enough water, your electrolytes become imbalanced. The dehydrated muscle is a cranky muscle. It cramps, it stiffens, it burns. That's why I always tell my patients, keep your water intake steady throughout the day. A glass in the morning, a glass before meals, and a glass in the evening can make a huge difference in keeping those nutrients balanced inside your muscles. The message here is simple. Your body is talking to you all the time. Those cramps in your calves, that tingling in your feet, that heaviness when you stand up, these are signals. They're warning lights on the dashboard. Ignoring them and saying it's just old age is like ignoring the oil light in your car. If you keep driving without oil, the engine breaks down. If you keep living without enough vitamins and minerals, your muscles and nerves break down too. So what can you do? Start by eating a nutrient-rich diet. Leafy greens for magnesium and calcium, bananas and sweet potatoes for potassium, fatty fish for omega-3C and vitamin D, nuts and seeds for vitamin E. If your doctor agrees, supplement wisely to cover the gaps. Get your blood tested regularly, especially for vitamin D and B12, because deficiencies in these are extremely common in seniors. And most importantly, listen to your body. Those nighttime cramps and daytime fatigue are not random. They're your body telling you to restore balance. My friends, deficiencies are not just numbers. They are the hidden cause of much of the suffering seniors experience with their legs. The good news is, once you correct them, your body has an incredible ability to heal, to strengthen, and to rebuild. Nourish your muscles, feed your nerves, support your circulation, and you'll be amazed at how much stronger your legs can feel. It's never too late to give your body the tools it needs. Let's talk about something that most people overlook when it comes to their muscles, nerves, and especially those painful leg cramps that seem to come out of nowhere. I call it the relaxation mineral, and that mineral is magnesium. This nutrient is one of the most powerful tools you can give your body, yet millions of seniors are deficient in it without even realizing it. Now let me ask you a simple question. How many of you have ever been woken up in the middle of the night with a leg cramp so painful that you had to jump out of bed and start rubbing or stretching? Or maybe you've experienced that tightness in your calves when you're just walking around during the day. These cramps don't just happen for no reason. They're happening because your muscles are contracting, but they're not relaxing properly. And guess what mineral your body needs for muscles to relax? Magnesium. Every single muscle contraction in your body, from your legs to your arms to your heart beating in your chest, requires calcium to contract and magnesium to relax. Think of it as a balance, like a seesaw. Calcium tightens, magnesium loosens. If you don't have enough magnesium, the muscle stays tight, and that's when you get those painful spasms and cramps. Many people load up on calcium but forget about magnesium, and this imbalance just makes the problem worse. Here's something else you need to know. Magnesium is involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. It supports nerve transmission, regulates heartbeat, keeps your blood pressure stable, and even helps your body make energy at the cellular level. Without magnesium, your body simply cannot function at its best. That's why when levels drop, one of the first things you notice is fatigue, irritability, and muscle problems. So why are so many seniors deficient in magnesium? There are a few reasons. First, our modern diet is stripped of magnesium-rich foods. Processed foods, refined grains, and sugary snacks all rob the body of magnesium. Second, as we age, our stomach acid decreases and our ability to absorb magnesium from foods becomes weaker. Third, many common medications like diuretics, blood pressure pills, and antacids drain magnesium right out of your system. Add stress on top of all that, and you've got the perfect recipe for deficiency. Now, magnesium deficiency doesn't just cause leg cramps, it also contributes to restless legs, twitching, tingling, numbness, and even feelings of anxiety. I've had many patients come to me saying, "Doctor, my legs won't stop moving at night," or "I just can't fall asleep because my muscles keep twitching." And when we checked, they were low in magnesium. Once they started eating magnesium-rich foods and sometimes taking a supplement, the results were almost miraculous. The twitching stopped, the cramps went away, and they were finally able to sleep peacefully. Let me share with you some of the best foods you can add to your diet to get more magnesium naturally. Dark leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard are loaded with magnesium. Nuts and seeds, especially almonds, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds are excellent sources. Beans, lentils, and whole grains also contain good amounts. Even dark chocolate in moderation is rich in magnesium. Imagine that, helping your muscles while enjoying a small piece of healthy chocolate. But sometimes food alone is not enough, especially if you're already deficient. That's where supplements can play a big role. There are different types of magnesium supplements out there, and they don't all work the same way. Magnesium citrate and magnesium glycinate are two of the best absorbed forms. Magnesium oxide, on the other hand, is poorly absorbed and often just causes loose stools. That's why it's important to choose the right type. Start with a small dose and gradually increase as your body adjusts. Many people also find that taking magnesium before bed not only reduces leg cramps, but helps them fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. That's because magnesium relaxes not just your muscles, but also your nervous system. It lowers stress hormones, calms the mind, and allows the body to enter a deeper state of rest. If you're someone who tosses and turns at night or wakes up with cramps, a little magnesium before bedtime might be the missing piece of the puzzle. Something else that's fascinating is the role magnesium plays in circulation. Remember, your blood vessels are lined with smooth muscles. Without magnesium, those muscles can tighten and cause your blood pressure to rise. When your circulation is restricted, your leg muscles don't get enough oxygen and nutrients, which sets the stage for more cramping and fatigue. By keeping your magnesium levels healthy, you're not just helping your muscles relax, you're also supporting healthy blood flow throughout your body. I want you to also understand that magnesium deficiency is often called the silent epidemic. That's because symptoms are subtle at first. Maybe you feel a little more tired, a little more achy, or your sleep isn't as good. You might brush it off as aging, but in reality it's your body's way of asking for more magnesium. When you restore your levels, the difference can feel like night and day. Now, I always remind people to be mindful. Too much magnesium from supplements can cause digestive issues. So start small, and if you have kidney problems, always check with your doctor before adding magnesium, because your kidneys are responsible for filtering excess magnesium out of the body. My friends, the bottom line is this: magnesium is the key to muscle relaxation, strong nerves, and peaceful sleep. It's the mineral that balances out calcium, protects your heart, and keeps your legs from cramping up. If you want stronger legs, fewer cramps, and better mobility as you age, don't overlook this powerful nutrient. Pay attention to what your body is telling you. If you're getting those signals, the cramps, the twitching, the fatigue, it may be time to give your body more of what it needs. I want to share something with you today that I call the cramp fighter, potassium. This is a mineral that your body absolutely cannot do without, especially when it comes to your muscles, your circulation, and your overall strength. Potassium is often forgotten, but it is one of the most important electrolytes for keeping your muscles and nerves working properly. If you've ever experienced those sudden sharp leg cramps, weakness in your legs, or even a feeling of heaviness when you walk, there's a very good chance potassium is part of the problem. Potassium is like the spark plug for your muscles. Every time your muscles contract and relax, whether you're walking, standing, or even just sitting still, potassium is helping electrical signals move between your brain, your nerves, and your muscles. Without enough potassium, these signals become weak and erratic. That's when your muscles start to spasm, cramp, or feel tired after even the smallest effort. Think about it, your heart is also a muscle, and it depends heavily on potassium to keep beating in a steady rhythm. That's why low potassium doesn't just cause leg cramps, but it can also affect your heart health and blood pressure. Now let's talk about why potassium is so important as we age. As we get older, our bodies naturally lose potassium more quickly. Many seniors take medications like diuretics, water pills for high blood pressure or heart conditions. These medications cause your body to flush out potassium through your urine. Antacids and laxatives can also interfere with potassium absorption. On top of that, many people don't eat enough potassium-rich foods. Instead, we eat too much processed food, which is loaded with sodium. Sodium and potassium work in balance. Too much sodium pushes potassium out of your cells, leaving your muscles and nerves deprived of what they need. That imbalance sets the stage for cramps, stiffness, and even high blood pressure. So I want you to picture this. Imagine your muscle cells are like little batteries. Potassium is the charge inside those batteries that keeps them running. When potassium runs low, the battery gets weak. That's why you may feel sluggish, heavy, or unable to move as freely as you once did. Some people describe it as their legs just not wanting to cooperate with them anymore. This is not simply aging. This is your body telling you it needs more potassium to recharge. The good news is that potassium is abundant in natural foods. Bananas are the most famous source, but they're not the only one. Sweet potatoes, avocados, spinach, beans, lentils, oranges, and even coconut water are all packed with potassium. These are foods that not only fuel your muscles, but also give your body vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants to fight inflammation and support circulation. I always encourage my patients to add at least 1 or 2 potassium-rich foods into their meals every day. Something as simple as having a baked sweet potato with dinner or adding avocado to your salad can do wonders for your leg strength and cramp prevention. Let me tell you about a patient of mine who came to me complaining of severe nighttime leg cramps. She said she was afraid to go to bed because she knew the cramps would wake her up. She was already drinking plenty of water, but when we looked at her diet, she wasn't getting nearly enough potassium. She had been eating processed foods, salty snacks, and not many fresh fruits or vegetables. We started her on a plan that included more potassium-rich foods like spinach, lentils, and bananas. Within just a couple of weeks, she noticed her cramps had almost completely stopped, her legs felt lighter, and her energy improved. That's the power of potassium. When you give the body what it needs, the results can be life-changing. Something else potassium does that many people don't realize is it helps control blood pressure. High sodium levels tighten and stiffen blood vessels, but potassium helps relax them, allowing blood to flow more freely. Better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients are delivered to your leg muscles. That's why when you correct a potassium deficiency, not only do the cramps go away, but your legs feel stronger and less fatigued. You're literally restoring the natural flow of energy and oxygen into those muscles. Now, I do want to caution you, my friends, while most people need more potassium, there are some who must be careful, especially those with kidney problems. The kidneys regulate potassium levels in the blood. If your kidneys aren't working properly, potassium can build up too high, and that can be dangerous. So always check with your doctor before making major changes in your diet or taking potassium supplements. For most people, though, increasing potassium through foods is safe and incredibly beneficial. Another important thing to remember is hydration. Potassium works hand in hand with sodium and magnesium to keep your body's fluids balanced. If you're dehydrated, even if you're eating potassium-rich foods, your muscles can still cramp up, so always pair good nutrition with steady water intake. Your muscles are like sponges. They need both minerals and fluids to function smoothly. I want you to start thinking of potassium not as just another nutrient, but as your body's natural cramp fighter and energy stabilizer. If your legs are cramping, twitching, or feeling heavy, it's a signal. Your body is asking you to give it back the minerals it's been losing. And when you start listening to those signals, when you start nourishing your body with the right foods, you'll notice the difference, not just in your legs, but in your overall vitality. My friends, remember this, your legs are your independence. Every step you take, every movement you make depends on your muscles having the proper balance of minerals, especially potassium. Don't let deficiencies rob you of your strength. Add more potassium-rich foods into your life. Stay hydrated and keep moving. By doing so, you're not just preventing cramps. You're giving yourself the ability to walk strong, live free, and enjoy life without being held back by pain. I want to share with you today something that is absolutely vital for every single one of us as we age, and that's calcium. Most people hear the word calcium and they think immediately about bones, about osteoporosis, about fractures. And yes, calcium is critical for building strong bones, but what many people don't realize is that calcium is just as important for your muscles. Without calcium, your muscles cannot contract properly. Without calcium, your legs lose power, your balance weakens, and your risk of painful cramps and dangerous falls skyrockets. Let me break this down for you in simple terms. Every time you take a step, your leg muscles contract. That contraction happens because calcium flows into your muscle cells, creating the spark that allows those muscle fibers to shorten and produce movement. Then once the job is done, magnesium steps in to relax the muscle. So think of calcium as the on switch for your muscles and magnesium as the off switch. If you don't have enough calcium, the switch can't turn on properly and your muscles will feel weak, shaky, or even spasm out of control. Now, why is this such a problem in seniors? Because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing calcium from food. Stomach acid production declines, making it harder to break down and assimilate nutrients. Many people also cut out dairy products later in life, either because of lactose intolerance or digestive issues, and they don't always replace that calcium with other sources. On top of that, certain medications like proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux and corticosteroids for inflammation can interfere with calcium absorption. Over time, this leads to a gradual weakening, not just of the bones, but also of the muscles. I cannot stress enough how important calcium is in preventing falls. Think about this: falls are one of the leading causes of injury in seniors. Weak bones are part of the problem, but weak leg muscles are just as critical. When your muscles don't contract with enough force because they're starved of calcium, you can lose your balance more easily. And when you fall, your bones are already fragile, which increases the chance of fractures. This is why calcium is truly a double protector. It strengthens both your bones and your muscles, giving you the foundation to stay upright, steady, and independent. But here's something many people don't realize. It's not just about taking calcium, it's about how your body uses it. Calcium needs partners. Vitamin D is one of those partners. Without vitamin D, your body cannot absorb calcium effectively. You can take in all the calcium you want, but without vitamin D, most of it will pass right through you unused. That's why I always tell people calcium and vitamin D go hand in hand. Make sure you're getting both if you want to truly strengthen your legs and protect your bones. Another partner for calcium is magnesium. Remember what I said earlier, calcium contracts, magnesium relaxes. If you take too much calcium without enough magnesium, you throw your muscles off balance. That can actually cause more cramps and stiffness instead of solving them. So balance is the key. It's not about overloading one nutrient. It's about making sure the body has the right ratios so everything works in harmony. Now let's talk about food. Dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese are well-known sources of calcium, but they're not the only ones. Leafy green vegetables like kale, collard greens, and bok choy are rich in calcium. Almonds, sesame seeds, and fortified plant-based milks also contain plenty. Sardines and salmon with bones are some of the best natural sources of calcium you can find. These foods don't just give you calcium, they also provide other nutrients that help with muscle function and overall health. I had a patient once who came to me saying, "Doctor, my legs feel weak all the time. I walk just a few minutes and I need to sit down." I thought it was my age catching up with me. After reviewing her diet, I noticed she wasn't getting nearly enough calcium. She had cut out dairy completely and wasn't eating many leafy greens. Her vitamin D levels were also low. We worked on her diet, added some fortified foods, and made sure she was getting outside for sunlight. Within a couple of months, her legs felt noticeably stronger, her energy was better, and she felt more confident walking around. That wasn't a miracle. That was simply giving her body the calcium and support it needed. Calcium also plays a role in nerve signaling. The nerves that carry messages from your brain to your muscles rely on calcium channels to fire properly. Without enough calcium, the communication between your brain and your legs becomes sluggish. That's why deficiencies can cause not only weakness, but also tingling, numbness, and poor coordination. Imagine trying to walk when your legs don't get clear signals. Every step feels unstable and you start to lose trust in your own body. This is why calcium is not optional, it's essential. Now I do want to give you a word of caution. More calcium is not always better. Taking huge doses of calcium supplements without guidance can increase the risk of kidney stones and may even contribute to calcification in the arteries, if not balanced with vitamin K2 and magnesium. The best approach is to focus on calcium-rich foods first, then use supplements only if needed and always in the right combination with other nutrients. Your body was designed to get nutrients from food, and that should always be the foundation. My friends, I want you to see calcium for what it really is, not just a bone builder, but a muscle activator, a nerve communicator, and a protector of your independence. Every step you take, every muscle contraction in your legs, every moment of balance you maintain depends on having enough calcium working inside your cells. When you give your body what it needs, you can reduce cramps, strengthen your stride, and protect yourself from falls. So don't ignore calcium. Nourish your body with it daily, in balance with its partners, and you'll be amazed at how much stronger and more secure your legs can feel. Your legs are your foundation. Keep them strong, and they will carry you wherever you want to go in life. I want to talk with you about one of the most overlooked but absolutely critical nutrients for your legs, your strength, and your independence, vitamin B12. This vitamin is what I call the nerve protector. It doesn't just give you energy, it protects the very communication lines that allow your brain to talk to your muscles. Without enough B12, those messages become scrambled or weak. In the first place, many people feel it is in their legs: numbness, tingling, heaviness, and weakness. Vitamin B12 is essential for the production of red blood cells which carry oxygen throughout your body. When you don't have enough B12, your red blood cell count drops and your muscles are starved of oxygen. That means fatigue, slower recovery, and legs that feel heavy even after a short walk. But B12 goes even deeper than that. It helps form the myelin sheath, the protective coating around your nerves. Think of myelin like the insulation around electrical wires. If the insulation wears down, the signal becomes weak or erratic. That's exactly what happens when you're deficient in B12. The nerves in your legs start misfiring and you feel tingling, pins and needles, or even a burning sensation in your feet and calves. Now here's something very important. B12 deficiency is incredibly common in seniors. Why? Because as we age, our stomach acid production decreases. Stomach acid is needed to release B12 from food so it can be absorbed. Many older adults also take acid-suppressing medications for heartburn or reflux, which make the problem worse. Add in conditions like gastritis, pernicious anemia, or even just years of eating a diet low in animal products, and you have a recipe for low B12. I've had patients who told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm walking on cushions, my feet are numb, my balance is off, and I'm afraid of falling." When we tested their blood, we found they were deficient in vitamin B12. After getting their levels up through supplements or injections, their sensation improved, their balance came back, and they regained confidence in their steps. This is not magic. This is simply giving the nervous system the nutrient it needs to function. When your nerves don't work properly, your muscles suffer too. You might try to take a step, but the signal from your brain to your leg is delayed or incomplete. That's why some people feel clumsy, like their legs just don't respond the way they used to. This is not just old age. This is often the silent effect of B12 deficiency, and the longer it goes on, the more damage is done to the nerves. That's why it's so important to catch it early and correct it. Now, where do we get B12? The richest sources are animal-based foods: fish, eggs, poultry, dairy, and lean meats. For those who follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, B12 deficiency is almost guaranteed without supplementation because plants do not naturally provide B12. That's why fortified foods such as plant-based milks or nutritional yeast are critical for those avoiding animal products. But remember, even if you eat plenty of animal foods, absorption can still be the issue as you get older. That's why testing your levels is so important. Another interesting fact is that B12 deficiency doesn't just affect the body, it also affects the brain. Low B12 is linked to memory loss, confusion, and even depression. Many seniors are misdiagnosed with dementia when in reality they're simply deficient in B12. Once corrected, their thinking clears, their energy returns, and their mood improves. That's how powerful this vitamin really is. I often recommend that older adults ask their doctor to check their B12 levels regularly. If the levels are low, supplements are usually very effective. Sublingual tablets, which dissolve under the tongue, bypass the digestive system and are absorbed directly into the bloodstream. For more severe deficiencies, injections may be necessary to quickly restore levels. And let me tell you, I've seen patients who are exhausted, dragging their feet, and struggling with balance come back to life after just a few weeks of proper B12 supplementation. But here's the key, my friends. Don't wait until the symptoms are severe. If you notice numbness, tingling, burning, weakness, or if your legs feel heavy and sluggish, listen to your body. These are signals that your nerves are struggling, and B12 may be the missing piece. The sooner you address it, the better chance you have of protecting your nerves and restoring strength. Remember, your legs are only as strong as the signals they receive from your brain. Strong muscles require strong nerves, and strong nerves require vitamin B12. Without it, you can exercise all you want, but the communication line will still be broken. That's why B12 is so important for seniors. It keeps those lines clear, those messages strong, and your movements steady. I want to share one more story. A gentleman in his 70s came to me worried because he was stumbling often. He thought it was Parkinson's disease or some serious nerve condition, but after some tests, we discovered his B12 was very low. Within months of supplementation, his stumbling stopped, his energy returned, and he was able to walk with confidence again. That's the difference between living in fear and living with strength, and sometimes it comes down to one simple vitamin. My friends, don't underestimate B12. It's not just about energy or blood cells. It's about protecting your nerves, strengthening your legs, and keeping you independent. If you want to prevent cramps, weakness, and falls as you age, make sure you're giving your body this essential nutrient. Get your levels checked. Eat the right foods and supplement if you need to. Your legs will thank you, your nerves will thank you, and most importantly, you'll thank yourself for taking action.